Something that was coming way up from the hill, the other side of daylight, someone singing high. Something bright was coming way up from the sky. In the dazzling light, where do women stand?
20th Century Boys by Naoki Urasawa. A group of boys who, when they were young, imagined they were going to save the world from evil when they grew older, and they came up with all these scenarios of what was going to happen, like biological weapons and stuff, and a giant robot.
When I first moved to Japan when I was a little kid, it hit me really hard that comics here just aren't a little kiddie thing. Like, everybody would read them. I see grown-ups reading them at the bus stop.
I don't know that much about the States. I've been there several times, but you don't really see, you know, guys sitting at the cafe in their business suits reading Batman or Superman.
Anyone in Japan likes to read manga. You know, I don't think that's, you know, that's pretty much a given. You know, that everyone, you know, in their spare time wouldn't mind reading a comic book.
Actually, when I was a kid, I want to be a comic writer.
It's a well-accepted hobby here, or art form. Pretty much everybody, you know, your best friend's mom is big into comics kind of thing. Everybody reads them.
It all seems to start with the comic industry.
Everybody reads comic, I think, yeah.
And then, when they've grown up, they've all forgotten about it, but these things that they made up actually start happening. And Kenji, who was the sort of the leader of the group of friends when they were young, gathers his friends together to fight against this phantom threat who is being led by, it's actually called the Friendship Party, and it's being led by someone who calls himself Friend.
It's something that causes a deep, you know, fanaticism, especially, you know, in a certain sect of the, you know, the Japanese population.
The style of cartoons here is unlike anything in the world. It confuses a lot of Americans that the cartoon characters and the designs don't really look Japanese to Americans. So, like, why are their eyes so big? Why is their hair like green and purple?
Not all manga art looks like that, but it's still very distinctive. You can tell usually that it's Japanese just by looking at it.
You know, in cartoons, anything can happen, and you can create your own universe, your own world, your own culture, your own nationality.
I think it's bigger than film, I think, in Japan.
Pencils, stationery, bags, school kids have it on their shoes. Turns into anime, goes to movies, video games, everything.
Japan is this, right now, seriously, I think they're the largest industry in the world as far as cartoons go. Comics and animation. I think they used to be second to the United States, but now they've become so widespread over the world, the entire world. All the other Asian countries have picked it up. Even when I was traveling in Europe, I was in France and England, and I was seeing Japanese cartoon characters on signs and things.
Friend tries to destroy the Earth with the virus on New Year's Eve 2000 so that the 21st century doesn't come, but he fails.
Comics are written here in Japan for every sort of interest, every kind of age group, it seems like. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there are comics about knitting or fishing or golf. I mean, there's like every sort of sport. every sort of hobby, and like I just pulled out one of these. These are comics about cooking, you know. They show you different like recipes and
basically they have tens of thousands of comic books, basically all the major ones, all the ones that you would know. They have there, you have a seat, basically you just go there, no one disturbs you. You can go through, just pick out whatever comic book you want to read, you sit there and you read it.
Ad for an internet comic cafe. Right here, really big, it says MANGA, which is comics in Japanese. This particular cafe is called Manbo.
The main thing that that they seem to be selling is more personal space and a kind of a time to get away from, you know, the busyness and the crowded parts of Japanese life. You can curl up with your favorite comic books. You know, the booths are made to be good for reading. There's lamps and there's always, you know, sufficient light.
There's a map on how to get there, and it shows you what it's like inside. There are beds where you can sleep. Here is the desk that's provided with an internet and a television set. If you go down here, it tells you there's a shower. Here's their comic book library. There's DVDs. There's video games. You can also get press-on nails, and there's a place for a manicure, looks like. And there's also a vending area and a restaurant and stuff.
They'll loan you a, you know, a sleep mask, and you can buy earplugs, and yeah, spent a night there. Wasn't so bad, but when I woke up, I was like, where am I? What kind of place is this?
And then instead of Kenji and his friends getting credit for saving the world from Friend frames them and takes credit for saving the world from them. So instead of destroying the world, he kind of comes into power. And then it's almost like 1984 with Big Brother and lots of scary stuff happening.
Wonder how you could survive that night.